Hey everybody, this is Carl from Carl's Opinion, broadcasting live from the Pahrump Wild West Extravaganza, live in Pahrump, Nevada, home of your Wild West Extravaganza and Rodeo. And we're doing a little brief call-in show. We got a live band, we have a rodeo, we have all kinds of Western events. Really great fun for the whole family. It's something that's been going on. We started yesterday night. And we're going on here. Let me turn the volume up a little bit for you guys. Okay. That might be a little bit better. You'll be able to hear me. There we go. All right. Yeah. Okay. That's better for sure. Okay. But anyway, we got a lot of news to cover, and we're going to get started. White House counsel derides Mueller report for failing to comply with the law. Actually, a little interesting story here. Kind of let's check this one out. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, Washington Times by Ronan Scarborough. The White House is ridiculing Robert Mueller's Rush report. Let me bring this down. Saying it reads like a law student's paper while not following the law or regulation for special counsel. The criticism comes in an April 19th letter from White House counsel Emmett Flood, President Trump's new point man for the Russia legal battles ahead. Mr. Flood also accused Mr. Mueller's team of Democratic donor prosecutors of being political and lashed out at former FBI Director James Comey. Well, that's interesting. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Let's see. Check something out here. All right, there we are. Okay. So, yeah, I just wanted to make sure we were on here. I'm looking at another monitor here, and I'm seeing a black screen. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? So let me just click this on one more time, make sure we're still going up here. All right, yep, there we are. We are definitely going on. Okay, just wanted to make sure, guys, you know, a little freaky right now. Everybody's getting zapped off, you know, everybody else's channel and stuff. You mentioned something the wrong way, you know, you get zapped or something or whatever. But anyway, so let's take a look at this. White House is ridiculing. Okay, so back to Mr. Flood also accused Mr. Mueller's team of Democratic donor prosecutors of being political and lashed out at former FBI Director James Comey. It marked Mr. Flood's first salvo against Mueller report. Let me flip this around a little bit. It's a little bit different when you're in the field. You know, you're not in your house. You're out in a 10 by 20 canopy. So kind of a little interesting here. But anyway, Mark Mr. Flood's first salvo against Mr. Mueller's report. It signals a tough White House stance against congressional Democrats who are reinvesting Russia and targeting President Trump's business. The SCO report suffers from an extraordinary legal defect. It quite deliberately fails to comply with the requirements of governing law. Mr. Flood wrote to Attorney General William Barr in a hand-delivered letter. Mr. Flood said Justice Department regulations calls for the special counsel to do one of two tasks, prosecute or decline. We talked about this the other night as well. We were saying, hey, this guy went kind of, we don't know what he did because he didn't do either. The special counsel instead produced a prosecutorial curiosity, part Truth Commission report and part law school exam paper, said Mr. Flood, a veteran of President Bill Clinton's impeachment. Mr. Mueller punted to Mr. Barr a decision on whether to find that Mr. Trump obstructed justice. Mr. Barr concluded he did not. Mr. Mueller said he could conclude that no criminal conduct occurred. Mr. Flood said that is not a federal prosecutor's job. Oh, there's a gunshot in the background. Oh, I'm okay. It's actually a Wild West kind of thing going on here, so yeah. Okay. Let's see. In closing his investigation, Mr. Flood said, quoting the regulation, the SEO had only one job, quote-unquote, to provide the Attorney General with a confidential report explaining the prosecution or declination decisions reached by the special counsel, yet the one thing the SO was obligated to do is the very thing the SEO intentionally and unapologetically refused to do. Mr. Flood bluntly accused Mr. Mueller's staff of politicizing the report when they wrote they couldn't exonerate Mr. Trump. The SEO's inverted proof standard and exoneration statements can be understood only as political statements issuing from persons, federal prosecutors, who in our system of government are rightly expected never to be political in the performance of their duties. The inverted burden of proof knowingly embedded in the SEO's conclusion shows that the special counsel and staff failed in their duty to act as prosecutors and only as prosecutors. And that's exactly the point. In other words, the prosecutors, the burden of proof is on the prosecution. There is a presumption of innocence even for President Trump. You may hate the guy if you're an idiot, but even he is presumed to be innocent. That's our burden. I mean, I guarantee it was some, crack dealer on the street, and they said, oh, look, he's dealing crack. He's a bad person. It's like, oh, wait, no, he's presumed innocent. You have to prove him guilty, that kind of thing. So, but yeah, with Mr. Trump, it's like, oh, he's presumed guilty, and, the special prosecutor, his job was to prove him innocent. No, it wasn't. That's exactly against the Fifth Amendment. They do that in China, actually. I mean, these people should move to China. I mean, that's the kind of justice system they have there. Pretty much you have to prove yourself innocent. That's pretty much the way it works there. They have a low crime rate, so I guess you can go there and be happy, love it or leave it kind of thing. But, I prefer to stay here myself. So, let's see here. Okay, conservatives believe Mr. Mueller's staff leaked a letter to the news media in which the special counsel criticized Mr. Barr's 4-page outline of the final report. The leak came on the eve of Mr. Barr's Senate testimony last Wednesday. Mr. Barr, the night before, right, just in time for the evening news stations to get it. And this letter comes out saying, "Oh, Mueller wasn't happy." Well, who cares what Mueller thinks? Okay, Mueller, one job he had to do, he couldn't even do that. Say, I'm going to prosecute him for obstruction, or I'm going to decline. He did it on the conspiracy with Russia to fix the 2016 election, also known as collusion. He was able to say that. We don't have any evidence to substantiate that the Trump campaign or any members of it, or any American for that matter, conspired with the Russian government to fix the 2016 election or change its outcome. Okay, he was pretty clear on that, but he couldn't. He had to give a law school exam. I brought this up the other night. I said it'd be like a law professor. I mean, I've been in those classes, obviously, where he gives half the class, okay, you take this position, the other half of the class take this position. Well, this guy didn't get, I wasn't getting paid when I was in law school. This guy was getting paid, him and his staff, $30 million. I mean, that's why you get paid, they'll say, that's why you get paid the big bucks. That's why you get paid the big bucks, to come up with an answer. You don't punt to the Attorney General, because he knew half the country would be upset with whatever decision he came out with on obstruction. If he came out and said, oh, the president is guilty of obstruction, half the country would be upset with him. And obviously, if he said no obstruction, the other half would be angry with him. So he didn't want half the country angry with him. So what did he do? Gives it a bar. He says, here, you take all the heat. You let half the country be angry with you, and we'll call it a day. But anyway, it is a live call-in show. If you do want to call in, there's a number up top, 775-273-8970. Yeah, I'm live right now on air. So how you doing? Having a good time? Yeah? You like YouTube? Excuse me? No, I don't sell gum. This is not a gum store. Anyway, some kid wanted to know. He saw my packet of gum in the bag, and I love bubble gum. So he figured, like, hey, you got any double bubble? It's like, no, I don't sell gum. It's like a gum salesman. There you go. Carl's Opinion, also known as gum salesman. If you want good opinions, well thought out on news and politics, or you just maybe want some bubble gum, come over to Carl's Emporium Gum Salesman. Hey, Kristen, how you doing? But anyway, so we're doing this live event here, Kristen. We're down here at the Pahrump Extravaganza. I put a full page ad in the newspaper as well, advertising my site. I'll probably post that later or something. And got a 10 by 20 booth with a double canopy, and got all the signs and stuff outside. Got a big banner outside. Got a banner at the rodeo fairgrounds and a banner over the stage where the band plays. Yeah, so it's really cool. Really a lot of cool people running around here and stuff, and everybody's having a good time. It's the town does this once a year here. And, it's just really nice. It's the third event I've done since I've had the YouTube channel. I did the Balloon Festival, which was really great. I had a great time there. At nighttime, they did they lit up the balloons, which was by firing them up, and then the balloons are different colors. So at night, they show different colors, and they play to music, and they kind of have like 10 different balloons kind of going off at the same time, different times, kind of all real choreographed. And then I did the chili cook-off about a month and a half ago. And I'm doing this as a 3-day event. I was out here yesterday, Friday. I'm out here today, and I'll be out here tomorrow. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. You just get to interact with people and talk politics. And I live in a fairly conservative town. So it's pretty nice. I posted something up this morning. I was supposed to interview the chairperson of the Democratic Party here in Nye County, which is the county I live in. It just is it borders Clark County, which is Las Vegas. And I had it set up for 9 a.m. this morning, and I even posted up on YouTube. And then my secretary comes up to me and says, "Yeah, I just talked to her. Said she said she wasn't coming." And I'm like, "Well, no, okay." Because yesterday she said, "Well, I just don't want to get beat up." Well, I don't beat people up. Not unless you're on the stand and you're lying. Then yeah, I'm going to beat the hell out of you. I mean, sorry, you don't get a pass. And it's kind of cool sometimes because if the judge knows that person is lying too, they'll let you kind of go after him. It's like, yeah, don't lie in court under oath because you're basically lying to the judge, and judges kind of take that kind of thing personal, but they really can't go beating people up. But if they know they're lying, it's like they'll kind of let you do it. it's like have at it, go for it. It's like no problem. That's what I like to do. So, but yeah, this story on Mueller and stuff. I covered it the other night and really ticked off about it. About Mueller being upset with Barr and about Barr's summary, and he goes, "Well, it didn't reflect my summary. I will come up there and help you, Carl." Hey, definitely use the assistance, without a doubt. But yeah, I had I have two secretaries. One secretary, she's liberal. Both my secretaries are liberal, but one of them was kind of open-minded. The other one isn't. So one of them was here with her husband, and that was really cool. And they're just talking to people, and it's funny because she doesn't like Trump at all, and she's up here talking to people. Oh yeah, Carl's all for Trump. I got all these Trump signs around the thing. So it's just kind of funny listening to her. And her husband, he doesn't really like Trump either. So it's just kind of funny. But they were kind of cool, kind of helping out and stuff. And my other secretary is actually my girlfriend, and she came by. She didn't want to. Obviously, she can't talk to anybody on Trump's side, but she was nice. Came up here, got me a sandwich. It was really nice. I kind of like that. I kind of dug that. It was kind of cool. So, but yeah, it's just kind of a fun thing. Oh yeah, Trump 2020. Yeah, I got that little on the hat here. I've been wearing my Trump hat, and I got the Trump 2020 banner. You can't see it here. It's on the entrance. It's on the other side of me. Like if I was doing interviews, it'd be to the right of me. It'd be like this way, over here, there. But yeah. So, but yeah, and I got on the outside. I got Carl's YouTube. I got 10-foot by 3-foot banner, and it has Trump 2020 on it also. So yeah, it's kind of cool. But yeah, this Mueller thing really irked me as an attorney. I was saying the other night, as a criminal defense attorney, I never once got a letter from a prosecutor saying, "We hereby exonerate your client. We hereby find your client innocent." I've never seen it. I don't even know what it looks like. I don't know what I would make of that if somebody sent me a letter like that. It'd be like, "Oh, really? You found him innocent?" It's like prosecutors don't do that. So that was kind of weird. So and then again, passing the buck on to Barr, knowing Barr was going to catch shit. If he had come out and said obstruction, the Lindsey Grahams and all those guys in the Senate, they would have jumped all over him. And then and of course he says no obstruction, and then of course the Democrats on the committee jump his ass. And Mueller didn't want to get his ass jumped, so he's like, "Well, here, you do it. I'll just duck out. Let me know how it goes. I'll come by and clean it up later. If it even comes to Congress, I'd be surprised." No, they don't. Prosecutors don't hate to admit when they're wrong. Well, actually, they really hate to admit it because potentially you have a civil action. If you can show that the prosecution didn't even have probable cause to prosecute you, you can sue for malicious prosecution. And if you were locked up as a result, it's talking some big money. I mean, if you're a regular guy, damages are based on who you are. I mean, if you're a regular guy, you've never been in prison before, never been in jail, and you get locked up in jail as a result. And then it turns out, well, sorry, we arrested the wrong guy. We're sorry we put you through a couple of court appearances. Have a nice day. Well, they can get sued. So that's why they just generally send a letter saying we decline. Because you still would have to prove that they didn't have probable cause. But if they come out and say, "Oh, your client's innocent," well, then, forget it. But it's not their job anyway. I mean, their job is to prosecute people or choose not to. And it was kind of aggravating to be honest with you, when I read that. So let's take a look, see what else we got going on here. Let me just jump over here. All right. And let's see. Let me push this over a little bit, make sure I'm not glaring. There we go. All right. So let's see what I was going to say. Oh, I'll show you a picture of the canopy. You can't see me. Maybe I'll just wave my hand. Let's see. Hey, see, that's me. That's me behind these computer screens. That's me over here. Hey, everybody. Hey, hey, that's Carl. Hey, hey, hey. I know I'm a goofball. Sorry, but anyway, so yeah, you got the computer monitors. You got the lighting going. Just like trying to create some artificial light. You know, you got to try to. The sun is really hard to deal with. You know, but you try to bring your own. You bring your own light in and stuff like that. So yeah, it can be done. It just requires a little bit of research. You know, shadows and all that kind of stuff. But it's fun. Okay, let's take a look to see what other stories we can cover. Let's see. Oh, of course. I don't know why I thought not to cover this one. All right, let's get back over here real quick. Okay. All right. Boom. Yay. Oh, let's shorten that up a little bit. That's a good story. I don't want to cover it up. Hold on. There we go. Yay. All right. So this is a really good story. You know, I know some people covered this yesterday probably, but you know, hey, this kind of story is worth covering again. So anyway, jobless rate hits 50-year low. Now, I'm sorry, you can't say this is Obama's economy. It isn't. This is definitely Donald Trump's economy. It's 2019. You know, he's been in office for over 2 years. And guess what? Nobody had. Oh, there comes the choo-choo train. Choo-choo. Choo-choo. Choo-choo train. All right. You got a little train here. They take kids around and stuff. It's kind of fun. But, hey, Tony Patriot. Hey, Mr. Tony. But, yeah, it's, let's see. Get the band starting here in about 25, 30 minutes. I got to be really careful on that, you know, because it's a cover band, yeah, you know, that kind of stuff. So really careful on that. But if anybody wants to call in, 273-8970, or Tony, if you want, I'll just say shoot me a link. I'll shoot you a link, and we can get you onto a video call if you want. You want to do that? Not a problem. But good seeing you there, Tony. And, of course, Kristen, I've definitely, Carl. No. It's not a Trump rally. Sorry. I guess I'm making it into a Trump rally because I got all these Trump banners, but it's our Wild West Extravaganza. The town of Pahrump puts it on once a year, and hey, Dina Marie, but it's once a year the town puts it on, and basically I turned it into kind of a pseudo-Trump rally because I got Trump banners at the rodeo fairgrounds right across from me. I got a Trump banner over there with the Carl's Opinion YouTube channel banner over there at the stage, and of course I got a Carl's Opinion 10-foot by 3-foot banner with Trump 2020 on the outside, and then of course I got Trump 2020 Keep America Great banner inside my canopy as well. So yeah, but it's I guess we're kind of making it into a Trump rally here, but again, a lot of like-minded individuals here and stuff like that. Yep, Wild West Extravaganza, exactly. But this story here, great news. Jobless rate again, 50-year low. It's like, gee, well, no other president has done that in 50 years. 50 years ago, I was 4 years old. It was 1969. We were embroiled in the Civil Rights Movement, the Vietnam War. That shows you how long ago it was. Okay? Up, gunfire. I don't know if you hear that. Yep, gunfire here at the Wild West Extravaganza. Bloodshed is everywhere. They're carrying the bodies away. They're burying them over on Boot Hill. We actually have a street here in Pahrump called Boot Hill. Yeah. They had a parade this morning. It started over at Boot Hill. Kind of cool. But, yeah, there's 50-year low, a 50-year low on unemployment. It's really, really cool. Let's kind of scroll through this a little bit. Okay, Washington. U.S. labor market showed historic strength in April, with employees hiring at a faster pace and unemployment rate falling to a half-century low. The latest numbers, however, also raise a question of whether enough workers can be drawn into the labor market to sustain the momentum of a nearly decade-long expansion. The economy added a seasonally adjusted 263,000 jobs in April, the 103rd straight month of gains, and joblessness fell to 3.6%. the lowest level since December 1969. The Labor Department said Friday. Remember though, there's 103 straight months. 68% of the jobs created by President Obama were living wage jobs. Okay, so that's not the jobs being created today. Further, I don't know if anybody caught. Why did I forget his name? Oh, I forgot his name. But anyway, he was on Laura Ingraham last night. He used to be with CNBC. And he was saying that this is across-the-board wage increases, across-the-board growth, because the top 25% of wage earners got about a 2.3% increase in wages. But the great news is the lower 25% of the labor force, blue-collar workers, their wages increased 4.5%. Okay, 4.5%. So the bottom 25% did better in wage increases than the top 25%. This is a great market between, he was talking about how between the trade policies, the tax cuts, the regulatory reform and removing regulations, that all of this is happening with no inflation, which is phenomenal, and with a strong dollar. Okay, that's not supposed to happen. The strong dollar means it's harder to export goods because it costs more for your goods overseas. So you got a strong dollar, no inflation, and you still got this 3.2% GDP growth in the first quarter, which is unprecedented. Yeah, it happened under Obama, but he started out at the bottom, and so, of course, it should have been like 10% GDP growth per quarter because he was at the bottom. But anyway, so 3.2% GDP growth. Number of jobless claims dropped. In the first quarter, that's when they should actually increase. Because remember now, you got a lot of seasonal workers, Christmas, and a lot of people spend a lot of their money on Christmas. In January, February, March, they don't have any money. They're trying to pay down credit cards. And in that first quarter, which is crazy, jobless claims for unemployment benefits went down. Historic records. That's not supposed to happen. And this wasn't supposed to happen. This 263,000 job figure for the month of April was actually 70,000 higher than anybody predicted. 70,000 higher. I mean, even the experts don't know how good the economy is doing until after it happens. And they're like, oh, my God, wow, this is great. Well, I guarantee you, see, here's the problem. These experts all sit in D.C., New York, and, well, probably not L.A. I don't think there's any smart people in L.A., but, they sit up in D.C. and New York, and they don't realize what the American people know. They're getting jobs. They're getting hired. Their neighbors are getting hired. They're not having to move to go look for work. Then Larry Kudlow, thank you, Dina Marie. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Yes, that was a great interview. I really enjoyed watching that. It was like, ooh, that's really cool, So, I mean, just the numbers he was spouting off was just unbelievable. I've never heard such good news. And now, and even though Kudlow wouldn't go, as far as Ingram was going on the Reagan comparison, I was saying this the other night. I love Ronald Reagan. He was the first president I got to vote for when I was old enough, 1984. I voted for him the year he took 49 states to one state when Mondale only took his home state of Minnesota. It was, I was so proud being able to vote for him. But, I was telling somebody else, I said, Reagan was great, but he was still held back by the constraints of, he had been in this political system for so long. Remember, he was a two-term governor of California, so he was still kind of restrained by the whole politics of being a politician. Even before he was elected, he was a politician. Whereas Trump was never been a politician. He's just kind of like a bull in a china shop. He just kind of goes, rrr, and Reagan can never go, rrr, that kind of thing. And when Reagan was getting kind of beat up by the Dems, remember the whole Iran-Contra thing? I mean, they ended up indicting Casper Weinberger, and I think I was going to say Seth MacFarlane. It's not Seth MacFarlane. Former Marine guy, the guy who ran the NSA, MacFarlane. God, I can't remember his name now. I keep thinking Seth MacFarlane from Family Guy. But, they went after him. Reagan didn't really fight back and, pretty much say, F you in your butt kind of stuff, whereas this guy does. And he knows how to shake things up. And he knows how to shake people up, which is good. And the Democrats are still trying to figure him out, and they still can't, which is good. I'm fine. I hope they never figure this guy out. But, that's just fine with me. But anyway, we'll continue on with the story here. Take a look here. Let's see. The labor market is as strong as it's been. And up, that's the tractor, actually. The tractor, they're giving out hay rides for the kids. They got a tractor pulling a hay hauler, I guess, with hay in the back, and the kids are in it and stuff. But anyway, the labor market is as strong as it's been in half a century, said Scott Anderson, chief economist at Bank of the West. We're in a spot to see the expansion continue. Right, and Larry Kudlow pretty much, Kudlow is a character too. Kudlow pretty much said the same thing, goes, there's no end in sight. You know, the funny thing about Kudlow, remember, when he brought Kudlow in, Kudlow was totally against tariffs, totally against, he was like, I'm into free trade, I'm totally against tariffs, I don't want to be fighting the Chinese, totally against it. And then he saw what Trump was doing, and he actually saw that the Chinese were willing to come to the table. And I think it kind of shocked him a little bit. He's like, oh my God, this works? He's like, oh, he's kind of like, now he's like a believer. He's like, wow, we got the Chinese to the table. Well, they want to negotiate so fast, but they're collecting like billions of dollars in tariffs. You remember, the Chinese are still shipping their goods over. Just Trump put those tariffs on them. So they're still paying billions in tariffs because they still want to sell it to us. You know, they're probably eating it somewhere themselves. You know, their companies, because a lot of it Chinese owned, or, you know, if you run a company in China, you have to have permission, favors from the powers that be. So I'm sure they're doing something to help out their manufacturers and stuff. But nonetheless, still, I mean, you know, so now Kudlow's kind of a believer on this whole thing. It's kind of cool. So, all right, so markets reacted positively with the, of course, with the Dow Jones Industrial Average rising 197 points to the latest report showing strength for the U.S. economy after a rocky start to the year. The data also are unlikely to move Federal Reserve policymakers from their wait-and-see stance that the economy isn't cooling but is still far from overheating. The jobs report was largely better than expected. Economists surveyed by the Wall Street Journal had projected a slower pace of hiring, and for the unemployment rate to hold steady at 3.8%. Job growth in the prior 2 months also is better than previously reported. The long jobs expansion is increasingly reaching Americans at the margins. That's what Kudlow was saying last night. Wage gains have strengthened in recent years, especially for workers earning the smallest paychecks, and unemployment has fallen for those who have historically struggled, including people with lower levels of education. Private sector workers saw solid wage improvements in April, with hourly wage earnings up 3.2% from a year earlier. The annual gain in wages was stronger than the 2.8% increase in April from a year earlier. Pay gains haven't accelerated much further since year-over-year wage growth broke above 3% last year for the first time in nearly a decade. Still, workers have been enjoying better pay in real terms as average raises exceed price increases. The Consumer Price Index rose 1.9% from a year earlier, but a vexing challenge remains. Employers still struggle to pull workers off the sidelines to power a growing economy at a time when more baby boomers are poised to retire. An economy's potential growth relies on the size of a nation's workforce and how much those workers are able to produce. Now, one thing Kudlow talked about was that the efficiency of the American worker actually increased a little bit. So that's going to help with the employers because you theoretically don't have to hire as many people if everybody's doing a little bit better. Let's see. These are signs that workers got more productive in the first quarter. At the same time, economists expect strong hiring and continued wage growth to encourage Americans who hadn't been seeking work to join the labor force. Instead, such participation was flat from a year ago. The U.S. workforce shrank in April. The share of people in their prime working years who had a job or were looking for one, while higher than a year ago, pulled back for the second month, cutting into recent gains. Let's see. The apparent pullback could be a measurement issue. The jobs report is derived from two separate surveys, one of employers and one of families, and those surveys were at odds in the latest month. Let's see. Let's not get into the weeds too much. Let's see. All right. Let's check back to the Washington Times. Let's see here. Gore's activist group demands broadcasters push climate crisis in their coverage. Let's see. Wow, this is interesting. AOC. Wow, this is funny. All right. I guess she's going to get another spot. I guess she's going to get a spot on Tucker Carlson here in a second. She already was on the same side with him on the whole Amazon moving to New York City. AOC calls for antitrust approach to breaking up big tech monopolies. Whoa. How long have we been saying that? Wow. Senator Ted Cruz on the other side of political spectrum has hinted a similar idea. Now, there would be funny. Ocasio-Cortez sponsors a bill in the House. Ted Cruz sponsors the bill in the Senate. Be known as the Cruz-Cortez antitrust legislation. Something. Who knows? Whatever. But, okay, here we go. Washington Times. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, New York Democrat, has signaled some support for breaking up big tech firms as proposed by presidential hopeful Senator Elizabeth Warren. The idea itself is something that I am supportive of because taking an antitrust approach, I believe, is absolutely relevant and it's appropriate to take, Ocasio-Cortez said during an interview. Politico reported Friday. A self-described Democratic socialist elected in 2018, Ms. Cortez singled out both Amazon and Facebook and in the interview as potential target of possible trust busting, Politico reported. Well, her end may be near. She's taken on she's taken on Facebook, Amazon. I'm sure Google and YouTube aren't far behind. So we'll see. We'll see how long those rich tech companies allow her to walk around. I don't mean like they're going to do harm to her. I mean just politically speaking. Amazon's role as both the marketplace producer, seller, creates an antitrust issue, said the first-term Congresswoman. Facebook, as a basic communications platform, while also selling ads and also being a surveillance platform, I think those functions should be broken up. Only she's saying this out loud. It takes her to say this. Why? Why? The dumbest person in the room has to say this out loud, and nobody else has the guts to do it. Amazing. I'm gonna repeat this line again from Cortez. Hey, Black and Irish. She writes. Okay, here's what she said to Politico. Facebook, as a basic communications platform. Oh wait, am I on top of the story? Sorry, guys. Hold on. I got to change positions here on this. I'm right on top of the story. Sorry, guys. All right. That should be better. Facebook, as a basic communications platform, while also selling ads and also being a surveillance platform. Black and Irish, hey. Let's see. I think those functions should be broken up. But how that gets levied and how that gets approached is what we need to take a fine-tooth comb at, she added, according to the report. Amazon declined to comment specifically on the Congresswoman's remark, but noted that most items bought through its services in recent years were sold by third parties. We helped independent sellers compete against our first-party business by investing in and offering them the very best selling tools we could imagine and build. Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos wrote shareholders last month. Hello, how you doing? How you doing, ma'am? I am live broadcasting right now as we speak. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Take one of my cards. All right, we'll do that. Ma'am, not at all. Not at all, ma'am. Yeah, I'm on there right now. Oh, I don't know anything about that, ma'am. Yeah. All right, you grab one of my cards, ma'am. All right, sure thing. I got it right there, ma'am. All right, take care. Bye-bye. Remember, go Donald Trump. Yeah. All right. There we go. See? Another Trump supporter. Yay. Hey, Jervis, man. How you doing? All right. So one of more than Facebook. Okay, one of more than 20 candidates seeking the Democratic nomination to run against President Trump in 2020. Ms. Warren has campaigned on plans to break up big tech and has promised to make changes if elected to promote more competition within Silicon Valley. Today's big tech companies have too much power over our economy, our society, and our democracy. They bulldozed competition, used our private information for profit, and tilted the playing field against everyone else. In the process, they have hurt small businesses and stifled innovation, Ms. Warren said in March. Republicans have raised similar concerns in recent months from across the aisle. Meanwhile, particularly in light of complaints about major social media companies censoring users. The big tech companies are larger and more powerful than Standard Oil was when it was broken up. The larger, more powerful than AT&T when it was broken up, And if we have tech companies using their monopoly to censor political speech, I think that raises real antitrust issues. Senator Ted Cruz, Texas Republican, said last month. All right. Okay, guys, I'm going to have to cut this one short. I got a cover band coming on. You know that is with YouTube and copyright and all that good stuff. So I just want to thank everybody who's been with me briefly. This has been happening all day and yesterday. You got to go now. Bye. Sorry.